Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and through this video we are going to kick off a new tutorial series where we are going to learn the important concept of RAG through which we can just empower our AI agent which uses large language model more intelligent. In this video, we are going to cover the theoretical concept of what is RAG, what kind of problem it is trying to solve, and we're going to understand with a real-time example like what exactly RAG does and how it helps us to overcome with the problems which large language models are having. And the last one where we're going to understand by just seeing the working app, like how it actually make our AI agent more intelligent and what kind of problem it solves for us. Okay, so what are the problems with LLM? So we have to first understand why RAG came into the picture, right? So we all know we are using large language model to make, intelligent system, right? But we know these large language models are being trained on some data, right? Some publicly available data, right? But you would have heard this word like cutoff date or outdated information. Like, for example, if we have ChatGPT or Gemini, if they say they have used the data to train their model until, let's say, 31st March of 2025. So whatever happens afterwards, that information is not there on which, these LLMs can be trained. So LLMs doesn't know about those concepts which are new or which has introduced after 31st March 2025. Right? That's one thing. The other thing, if we have some specific information where these large language model companies are not having a hold of it, they can also not be known to these large language models. But what happens, this is the second problem. If you ask any large language model, it always provides you one information or one response or the other. And sometimes what happens if you are asking a question which is very specific to the one organization for which the data is not there, then what LLM does is they try to just predict, what could be the most probable or similar solution can be for that query. And we call this as a hallucination because large language model trying to provide you the response, but factually that response might not be good or correct, right? The third problem is, how can we overcome with this problem where we have outdated information? The best example is we can just retrain the model, but we all know training these large language model is not at all possible, right? And it requires a lot of complicated, process in place along with it's related to a very huge cost, which is not easily manageable, right? And the fourth one is again, if there is a very specific information which is related to a very specific organization, it could be anything which is not available for these models to get trained on, right? So these are the main four problems, but there can be many more situations, but I found these are the four main problems for which the RAG kind of concept evolves. Right? So what is RAG? RAG is just an abbreviation for the Retrieval Augmented Generation. So what it does in RAG system, which I'm just going to show you through the demo with my working app, what we do is whatever the problem we were facing, right, where we have outdated information or not having a correct information, which result into the hallucination, what we do is whenever we build these kind of, application, we just provide a specific information or the latest information that can be provided by some static information which we collect, or we can just provide the access to our internal, data repositories like databases and all this stuff. And also we can just directly inbuild some kind of web search on the fly at the runtime. Right? But there is a process involved for which we use a vector database where we have to convert whatever the data, real-time data we are collecting, we have to convert into the format which can be understood by these AI model. And that is what we call the embedding, where we just convert our unstructured data into embedding, which can be stored into the vector database. And then that can be a fetch along with, our query that we're going to understand all these stuff. So no need to worry about. So retrieval is just extract the data from the real time, which is required for a specific queries or a specific scenarios. Augmented is where we are trying to just add the context to our query so that our query will be having all the context regarding my query which is required to have a supportive information where LLMs, if they don't train on that specific area for which the query is, then it can utilize that information. And same with the generation. Right? So LLM is trying to just get the complete context, and based on that, it can try to just provide the response. So somehow, with the use of RAG, we are able to just solve the problem 1, problem 2, and we don't need to go for the costly retraining stuff. Now, we reach to the point where we want to understand the flow. So in theory, the simple flow is what we do. In the application, you're going to see the same kind of concept. We first upload our document. So we are going to take PDF as an example. We convert that PDF. We just extract the data, create the chunk out of it. Then we create an embedding. So if you want to really understand this entire process where we just extract the data, create the embedding, create the chunk, then create the embedding and just put it into the vector database. I have already published my entire tutorial series which cover all these steps in a very simple term along with the coding. You can watch my video and you can understand up till step 4. Then user asks a question, then we get the relevant chunks retrieved from the vector database. It just actually make our query more contextual rich, where we have provided a very specific and accurate information in a real time to the query so that LLM can provide a more appropriate response. Okay, so this is what we do. This is what the previous slide explained. Okay, we have a user who just collect the data through the PDF and web search, put it in a vector database. Then LangChain is the framework through which we can just talk to LLMs. And there are many more feature which LangChain is having, like retrieving the data and all this kind of stuff, which we're going to understand in our upcoming sessions, right? So what it does first is retrieve the context, create a prompt where my query and context just get merged or consolidated and send it to the large language model like Gemini, ChatGPT, Llama, Grok, whatever DeepSeek, whatever the AI model you want to use, and then it just collect the data and responds back to the user. So this is what the high level workflow looks like. So now we just reach to the point where we want to see the application in action, right? So this is what the application we will be able to build by the end of this tutorial series, right? So I used Streamlit, which actually help us to just create a web application in a very less line of codes. We are using that for now. Right, and then I'm using a pinecone client library along with the LangChain, and we have some supportive library of LangChain through which we can just make the connection to the Gemini. And whatever the AI model we want to use, we have a specific Python module in the LangChain, because LangChain is a very large ecosystem now where we have a lot of features available for specifically these AI models. So we should be covering all these things in a next part, where I'm going to tell you how to set up your development of the working environment where we are going to build this application. So the very first thing, as I mentioned, we have to upload our PDF based on which we're going to ask the question, right? So I'm just clicking on a browse. So these are some distributed system design related stuff which I have collected. So let me just say, okay, I wanted to ask some question related to my login, right? So I just added that, and the moment I added that, behind the scene, what is happening now, my code is actually, extracting the data from the PDF, taking out the chunk, converting into the embedding and loading into the vector database. So that part is done, right? Now, when we're going to ask the question at that point of time, LangChain will retrieve the context based on the query. It will just go to the vector database, get the semantic search. Based on the semantic search, it will just collect the context, associate with the query, and send it to the large language model by the LangChain. So now we can ask any question. What is logging in distributed system? And right now, this doesn't look like a very real-time situation that we're going to just talk. So I can just click on a submit query, and now we're going to get the answer. So the real-time situation can be like, okay, you are working in an organization, right? And you have a virtual assistant, AI-enabled virtual assistant, and you want to ask, okay, how many leave I am having, which I can avail for rest of the year. But if you ask this AI-based virtual assistant model that real-time information will not be there with the model which is behind your virtual assistant is running, because that is trained for some old data, right? So at that point of time, if you have a rack system, right? So there what you can do, you can just allow your virtual assistant to get the real-time data, probably from the database where that HR is storing the information regarding your leave. At that point of time, it can extract that information, and rather than giving you some generic answer without a rack system, like, okay, you can check HR and those kind of stuff. So that is where, this rack kind of system will be very, very helpful. So wherever you feel like, you are using a AI model, which is trained from the past data, and now you have a new information through which you want your LLMs, your AI agent to respond. Those are the areas where you can use this RAG, and you can make your AI system RAG empowered, right? So we just got this answer. This is not something through which we can just understand, but this is the high level flow. But we are going to make this system so much intelligent so you can use in real time or production like environment, right? So that's it from my side for this video. If you have any feedback or suggestion, you can put that into the comment section. And if you really like this video, don't forget to give a thumbs up and just enable the notification. So whenever the next tutorial part will be available, you just get notified for that. And if you feel this video can help your groups of friends, please feel free to share with them as well. And if you haven't subscribed for my video yet, please subscribe for my video. And as always, stay healthy, keep learning a new thing, and be curious. Thanks a lot.